So, eighth graders, today we're going to be doing what could be some of the hardest work that we do on our essay, and that is revising. I'm going to talk you through the process that I went through to revise my body paragraphs in my example essay. So, you can see here on your screen, I have my body paragraphs up. You can tell it's the first one says one reason Ruby was the perfect person, the second reason Ruby was the perfect person, and then the third paragraph starts out a third way. I'm going to take you through the how I revised my second and third paragraphs in the body of my essay. Okay, so first I'm going to read you my second paragraph, and then I'm going to tell you some ideas that I had for revising. Okay, so my second paragraph goes like this. The second reason Ruby was the perfect person to begin integrating the schools is she was brave. It takes a brave person to be first at something. In the story, Ruby describes when she first began attending the school, crowds would scream horrible things at her while she walked in and out of school. They held signs and even carried a miniature coffin with a black doll inside. Although Ruby admitted that it frightened her, she did what her mother wanted her to do and went to school. Her bravery is admirable. So that's what I have so far. And actually, when I reread that, I thought to myself, well, I like that. I think that paragraph is okay. But when we revise, we always want to think like, have we communicated it in the best way possible? And is there anything that we should change or add to each paragraph? So in that case, I realized that the way I had done it, the way I had done my explaining was all through paraphrasing. I don't have any quotes in there. So that's something that I could consider adding. So when I went back here, rather than look for a quote in the book, since I was talking about bravery in this paragraph, it brought to mind a quote that Oprah Winfrey has said. And that is Oprah Winfrey has said that true courage means that you are afraid of something, but you continue on and do it anyway. So, what I did was I went back and I researched that quote. I went on to Google and I found the exact quote that Oprah had said. And I'm going to include that here because I think it fits with Ruby's situation. So, I'm going to put that right after where, let's see, she kept going to school. All right, so I'm going to start right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my text red so you can see where I'm adding text. So I'm going to put here Oprah. Oprah Winfrey has said, quote, real courage is being afraid, doing it anyway. Okay, I thought that fits exactly with the situation that Ruby was in. She was a little scared when she saw that black doll in the coffin, but she just knew that she was going to keep going and do it anyway. Um, that really showed me, as the writer and reader of the Ruby Bridges story, that Ruby had what it took to be first. She had real courage, the way Oprah explained it. Okay. So what I noticed here, after I added that into my paragraph, when I skimmed back through it, I noticed that I don't really think that I need this last sentence anymore. So I'm going to take that out. I'm going to mark it for you so that you can see. I'm just going to strike through it, but you'll see that I'm going to take that out of my essay. And in reading back through it, I also noticed that I wanted to add something right before the quote here. So I'm going to add in that is bravery. Okay. So in this second paragraph, I have added in, it looks like 1, 2, 4 sentences and I have taken out 1 sentence. So I'm just going to skim back through it. I'm going to shine my light on it again. The second reason Ruby was the perfect person to begin integrating the schools is she was brave. It takes a brave person to be first at something. In the story, Ruby describes when she first began attending the school, crowds would scream horrible things at her while she walked in and out of school. They held signs, and one even carried a miniature coffin with a black doll inside. Although Ruby admitted that it frightened her, she did what her mother wanted her to do and went to school. That is brave. Oprah Winfrey has said, real courage is being afraid, but doing it anyway. Ruby had what it took to be first. She had real courage. Okay, I really like the way that paragraph sounds now. So I think I'm going to be good with that one. And I'm going to continue with my third body paragraph. So let's see, let's shine the light on it. Okay, a third way that Ruby was the perfect person to be the first to integrate the public schools was she was resilient. Despite going, I want to stop right there because right at the beginning of this, I don't really like the way I started all of my paragraphs kind of the same. I said the first way, or I said one reason Ruby was perfect, then I said the second reason, then I said a third way. I think that's kind of boring. So I think I'm going to try to figure out another way to introduce my third paragraph. So let's see if I turn my light. Let me turn my light off. Let me highlight this. I think I'm going to get rid of this. So I will strike through that again so that you can see what I'm removing. And I'm going to change that initial sentence and just give it something different so that every single introduction to a paragraph is not exactly the same in my essay. Okay, let me turn this red. And the first 2 paragraphs I wrote about Ruby being smart and brave. And this paragraph is going to be about her being resilient. So I'm going to say, so I'm going to turn off my strike through. Let's see here. Okay, so I have my strike through off. I'm going to say, not only, let's see if I can click right there. Not only was Ruby smart and brave, she was also resilient. I like that better since it's just not repeating the same style introduction that I had in my other 2 paragraphs. Okay, so then I'm going to continue on. Despite going through some very difficult times during that first school year, Ruby managed to get through it. In the story, Ruby describes a time when she couldn't eat or sleep. She had to eat lunch alone in her classroom every day because there were no other students, and her teacher ate in the faculty room. Ruby couldn't eat her food, and she dumped her milk in the glue container and hid her sandwich in the closet. It is sad that she was lonely and went without lunch for a long time before an adult noticed the problem. Somehow, even without being able to eat, Ruby would get through each day, showing that she was resilient. Okay, I think that does show that she was resilient, but I think something that could add to my paragraph is if I added a quote from Ruby about what she was going through at that time. So that's what I did. I went back to the book through my eyes and I found an exact quote from her that I'm going to add, and it's going to go right in here after the word closet. Right, so I'm going to click there and turn my text red so that you can see what I'm adding, and put, Ruby said, and I'll put her exact quote, I began to wish that I could go to the cafeteria with the other children. I don't blame her. I could smell food they were eating. So when I read that part, it really touched me because I could just picture her in the classroom eating her dry little sandwich and, smelling the hot food that the other kids were eating in the cafeteria. So adding that in, I think, is going to add something to my essay. That's why I chose to do that. I'm going to continue on here now. Let's see. It's sad that she was lonely and went without lunch for a long time. Somehow, without even being able to eat, Ruby would get through each school day, showing that she was resilient. Okay. Yes, that all does show that she was resilient. I think what I'm going to do is, since this is my third paragraph, it's my third body paragraph, the paragraph after this will be my conclusion. So I think what I need here is a transitional statement, something that will lead the reader from my body paragraphs into my conclusion. All right, so what I'm going to put here is Ruby had many qualities. I'm kind of summing up everything that I've said here that made her the ideal person to be the first Black child at William Frantz School, because that was the name of the school she went to. So it's another detail that I'm adding in, and it's also helping the reader transition from here to the ending of the story, because I'm indicating now that I'm wrapping things up, I'm summarizing everything, and now we're ready to go on to the ending. All right, so this is what you're going to be working on your slide today, and I'm looking forward to seeing how you make changes in your body paragraphs.